Well, let's go over here and see. Thought I'd start with what is the conspiracy theory about reptilians? What are they? What's going on with it? Where does it come into play here? So let's just hit up good old Wikipedia, see what they got to say about it. All right, got pictures and everything. Give me money. So reptilians, also called reptoids, archons, reptilioids, saurians, draconians, or lizard people, are supposed reptilian humanoids which play a prominent role in fantasy, science fiction, ufology, and conspiracy theories. The idea of reptilians was popularized by David Icke, a conspiracy theorist who claims shape-shifting reptilian aliens control Earth by taking on human form and gaining political power to manipulate human societies. Icke has stated on multiple occasions that many world leaders are possessed by so-called reptilians. It's interesting. Possessed. So, they get into it. They talk about how, just like with a lot of things with conspiracies, David Icke talks about a lot of good stuff, and then he gets to the end of it, and it's reptilians. And that makes people go, oh, okay, this guy's just crazy. Well, most of his stuff he talks about, if you've seen David Icke's work, is legit, or seemingly legit. It's awesome. It's really good stuff. But then you get into reptilian humanoids and stuff like that, and it's crazy. I mean, especially when you go, like, the moon landing, like, what are we living in? Can we even get out there? What's really going on with that? It's for a different day, guys, but yeah, very interesting with that. So they go on about how David Icke does very good work, but whoever he's getting, because David Icke like hears voices or is talked to by something, and it tells him great things that he's right about. But then it started telling him about this. But pretty much they get into these things being called coming from the fallen angels, and then Nephilim, and they talk about the chimeras, the animal-human hybrids, because they can make animal-human hybrids today. But when it comes out, when it's born, when it comes out of its egg, or when it's birthed, it comes out, breathes one breath, and then dies. And the theory on that is that God sees that mixture of this animal and this animal. It's not either. So he doesn't give it a soul and it dies. But that these things they're calling reptilians and ghosts and demons and stuff are demons. That there could be Nephilim spirits or fallen angel spirits. The souls of them. They're multi-dimensional, interdimensional beings is what they are. So yeah, a lot of people, he's right, a lot of people could be possessed by these. But they're not aliens. They're not what you've been told. Oh, what do you think they are? Martians from Mars? No, they're demons. And it just goes thousands of places. Almost every religion, I mean, has some form of something that coincides with this conspiracy directly. So it's not actual beings. That's what it is. I like what they did here. Just a little lizard. Peen versus man peen. Poor guy. It's hilarious. Let's see, origins. Michael Barkin, professor of political science at Syracuse University, posits that the idea of a reptilian conspiracy originated in the fiction of Conan the Barbarian creator Robert E. Howard in his story The Shadow Kingdom. Let's see, published in Weird Tales in August 1929. So that's just covering it up where it comes from. Or Howard's serpentmen were described as humanoids. And it's the snake, so like the devil is called the serpent. This would be the serpent with wings, an angel. It's crazy. Alien abduction. See, David Icke. According to British conspiracy theorist David Icke, who first published on this theme in his 1999 work, The Biggest Secret, Tall, blood drinking. That was another one. Blood drinking. Why are all the elites drinking blood, adrenochrome? What's with, like, vampires and blood, all this? And allegedly it's because they're obsessed with it. The Nephilim, or the fallen angels, or the demons, whatever you want to call them. Because the Nephilim are the birth childs of the fallen angels mixed with man. So they have no real soul, just like the animal-human hybrids that we make. So these things are floating around in a probably lower dimension, vibrational dimension, knocking shit over, trying to get into these bodies. And yeah, blood is the lifeblood. The blood of Christ, the life. Yeah. Shape-shifting reptilian humanoids from the Alpha Draconis star system, now hiding in underground bases, are the force behind a worldwide conspiracy against humanity. He contends that most of the world's ancient and modern leaders are related to these reptilians, including the Merovingian dynasty, the Rothschilds, the Bush family, and the British royal family. Ike's conspiracy theories now have supporters in up to 47 countries, and he has given lectures to crowds of up to 6,000 people. So this is top 10 most popular conspiracy theory. But yeah, this is the movie. It's called Lizard People, The Truth About Reptilians. Cheap, interesting. It was a very good watch. It's only like an hour long, 50-something minutes. Incredible. And if you're here this far, everybody, make sure to hit that Rumble button. Let's get it going. Let us know you're out there. Subscribe if you haven't. This is kind of the stuff you're into. The guys couldn't make it tonight, but we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. Let's see what's up next. So yeah, this is it. The movie says, this is the intro for it. It says, they establish rule over ancient man, a race of giants known as the Nephilim. Today, their descendants live among us, veiled in any form they choose, demon, alien, even reptilian. Two hardcore researchers, Carl Crew and Brian Sadler, delve deep into the mythology that shrouds the theory of the reptilians to uncover their true nature and their global power that some say continues to control the world. Through their deceit and deception, will the reptilians ultimately destroy humankind? So it's kind of like that. I think that's more of a hook than what it's really about. But yeah, they talk about the Vatican. They talk about the Smithsonian, the bones being found in the early 1900s. They talk about Abraham Lincoln. Yeah, let's see if we can get that pulled up real quick. Abraham Lincoln. Giants. He starts writing about, they will tell you it's about Niagara Falls. Yeah, right there. Hit up good old Reddit for this. The eyes of that species of extinct giants whose bones fill the mountains of America have gazed on Niagara as ours do now. Abraham Lincoln, 1848. So it talks about that. Christopher Columbus talks about how there were good Indians and bad Indians, and the bad Indians were way bigger. A lot bigger. Like twice the size of a man. I mean, it goes back. They get into some heavy stuff, so I don't want to really ruin it all. But yeah, and then pretty much the people moving here teamed up with the Native Americans that we know of today when they got here with their guns and everything and killed the big ones, the big Nephilim, and buried them in mounds all over the U.S. And in the 100 years later, or a little bit more than that, actually. Yeah, quite a bit more than that. A couple 100 years later, these mounds were there and people ended up digging them up and finding up to 18-foot tall humanoids bones. And the Smithsonian came and scooped them all up. Before that, there were some found as well that were sent on the first boat to the Vatican. And those have never been seen again. The Smithsonian. You guys can all get on Google and just type in giant bones, New York Times, early 1900s. You'll find it. Dozens and dozens of them, of all different papers that are still here today. Oh, and then it got into Nikola Tesla and how his first radio, he was hearing voices, is what he said, which is funny because no one else had a radio, so he couldn't be hearing voices. In 1901, engineer Nikola Tesla made the astonishing claim that he was receiving radio communications from Mars. His story was picked up and reported on broadly in the press. An article from the Richmond Times offered an extensive description and commentary on his alleged discovery. So, Allegedly, he was hearing these voices, and they were in a language. It sounded like humans talking in a language he had never heard of before. He didn't know. And that's why he ended up making a giant tower of a radio. And I guess some stuff happened with that as well. He promises radio communication with Mars. As he sat beside his instrument on the hillside in Colorado, in the deep silence of that austere, inspiring region where you plant your feet in gold and your head brushes the constellations. As he sat there one evening alone, his attention, exquisitely alive at that juncture, was arrested by a faint sound from the receiver. 3 fairy taps, one after the other, at a fixed interval. What man who has ever lived on this earth would not envy Tesla that moment? While Tesla's alleged communications with Mars captured media attention, it did not capture much serious interest from scientists. So you're not going to find a whole lot until you go through his readings, I guess. But he was hearing what he thought were voices. So what's the crazy stuff? Here's the towers. Right here. Early experiments in radio technology. So, 1894, Tesla erects his first small radio station in his laboratory and begins his experiments in radio technology. At the same time, he builds his first radio-controlled automata. Crazy. It ends up burning down a year later with the radio station. First models of induction motors and other polyphase system devices, as well as a valuable technical archive. So, his research and equipment were destroyed. Crazy world. I guess there was some medium at some point in time that started saying she was picking up on Tesla, and he was one of these reptilians from another planet that had been reborn, and that's how we knew all this stuff. And it was just, it's bullshit is what it is. But crazy stuff here.